Hi everyone, Emma here. I am so excited. I have a surprise for you. My sister Sylvia is here from Ontario. She came for my birthday. Hi Sylvia, thanks for coming.
Hi Emma, glad to be here for sure.
So we're just going through my stash and getting some goodies for her. But in the meantime, we came across this bracelet, and I did this bracelet in another video. So if you're interested, take a look. And these are those super duo beads that have the two sides of the colors. And it's really a lot of fun trying to come up with a pattern. So this is a super simple bracelet to make. So I was going to give this to my sister, and I'm going to send her home with some goodies to some of these different color super duos. And let me just adjust the... So I realized that this bracelet is too small for her. So I'm going to show you how you can add length to your bracelet. So there's two ways you can do it. One way is I used to do my bracelets directly onto my clasp, and I saw a few people do this idea of a jump ring onto it. And I think that's a great idea because this way you can actually add more length using your jump ring so that your toggle is not attached to your beads. So the other way you can add length to this is if we take this jump ring off and the toggle, your beads are ready for the next position of set of beads. So you see how it's a little X? Well, in here you have the 3 beads. All you would have to do is combine this middle bead with your next set of beads. So you could actually add a whole section here to this, and that would do it as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't find these beads. They're somewhere in my mess of an office. So we're going to do the cheating way with the toggle. So let's go ahead. We're going to take this off. So I'm going to get Sylvia to take this off. Have you done some work with tools?
Very little.
Okay, so I'll show you the first one, and
Okay.
then
Sounds good.
so we want to take this one here, the jump ring off. So you're going to take your tool, find the opening. So there's the opening. So hang on to it that way, and then your other pliers. I like using my flat pliers. And grab the other side. This is tiny, so it's a little bit of maneuvering, and I'm far away from the desk, so I think that's where the opening is. Nope. Let me take a look here. Actually, it does look like it. These are 18 gauge jump rings, so they're a little firmer than your, a little more expensive or a little less expensive ones. So yeah, just twist like that. And we'll take this off first. It'll give us more space. And then just slide that out like that. And we'll leave that there. So I'll get you to do the next one on this side. See how you do.
Okay. The cheater's on here. Now I don't know if that's the opening. I think that's it there.
It's hard for me to see. But...
Okay. I think so.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's exactly what you want to do is you want to twist towards and away from you.
Is that enough?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that'll come off. You got to really open it. It's such a small jump ring.
Yeah.
And
there
the
we
beads
go.
are big. Yeah, so that should do it.
That's good.
So we were joking how much my sister and I sound alike. My mom, when I would call, and like, it was so funny because she could just look at the caller display, but she'd say, "Hi, Sylvia," when I'd call all the time. I used to call her every day for a while, and then she got tired of hearing from me. She's like, maybe you could call once a week. But I think it was because she felt bad that if she wasn't at the house when I called. I'm just looking for which jump ring we want to add. I thought I had ovals out. So let me grab my ovals. Those are really cool ovals that I got from...
Emma has a lot of stash. It's overwhelming.
So here, these ovals I got from Beta Halik. So they're gold-plated ovals, and they're beautiful. So they may be too small.
Yeah, they look smaller.
So when you put them together, they look like a piece of chain. So that's kind of why I think that, no, you know what? Okay, so no, we can do this. We'll attach a few together, and then we'll add one of these jump rings on either end so that there'll be lots of room for the toggle and for the beads. So I think probably we were thinking maybe a 1/2 inch. So let's do 4 on each side. Because once they're together, like if you set them next to each other like this, that looks like it's long, but you realize that it's going to go more like this because they're going to be attached. Yeah. So let's take a look. So let's basically do the same thing. You're going to open it up and hook on the next one. Okay. So thank you everybody for all the well wishes. The surgery went really well, and I am now, like tomorrow will be a week from my surgery, and everything looks good. I'm feeling great. So
do you connect and then close?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you can do is you can attach 2 of them to the one open one.
Okay.
And then close it, because then what that does is it creates the 3 link. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
It is a bit, you could put it on with your fingers. And the reason being, the tools are magnetic. So it makes it harder to do stuff.
Okay, that's one on. Am I still staying in frame? I don't know.
Here, let me move the camera down a bit.
Okay, I got 2 on now. Oh, no. I'm a novice beader, so you'll have to be patient.
There's a lot of subscribers that are new to beading, so it's really nice. Because, you know, for doing some of these bracelets, sometimes I get like where I want to challenge myself and do something really complicated, but then there's times where I don't want to think about things and I just want to play with the beads. So it's great to do very simple designs with only a few items, and you can do something really nice, and that way it's nice for everybody.
So to close it completely,
yeah.
Does that look like I've closed it completely, or there might be a
Yeah, no,
gap?
that looks good.
That looks good.
So to close it completely when you're doing jump rings is you press them towards each other and moving them back and forth till you hit that where they hit each other. Okay. And that way there's no gap, so no thread can go through it. But we're not too worried about these ones because there's not going to be any thread on these ones. So as long as they're hooked to each other, they're fine. It's the bigger jump ring that's going to attach to our beaded bracelet.
Now, this one here, I open this one and attach it to one of the length ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to give you the smallest.
You have to, yeah. So you have to come up with some stories so they're not bored while I'm
while
I'm doing this painful process.
I'm trying to think. What was the story you were talking about the other day? Oh, so we lived on St. Paul Street in Toronto, and the next street over was St. Paul's School, and they had like basketball courts and baseball diamond. It wasn't like there was no grass; it was just painted on the asphalt inside the yard. But in the summertime, we would go there to play. So we were playing, and as it got closer to school starting again, the teachers would start preparing their classes. So they'd see us there all the time. So they asked us to come and help to set up the classes, and they would always give us stuff. And one of the things they gave us was this book that Sylvia has. And
It's called Stories Old and New.
yeah. And Sylvia used to read stories to me before we went to bed. So,
And it was a real gem when we received the book, because we went to French school when we were younger, so we never had a lot of English books. So it was like a primer reader that the teacher had given us. It's like grade 3 or 4 probably. Level stories.
but the stories were great.
Too Many Mittens. What were some of the others?
And the Too Many Mittens, was that about kittens?
No, it was about a little boy lost a red mitten on his way to school in the snow.
Oh, okay.
And then they put up a sign, and then they kept getting so many red mittens from all the people in the community. And then they ended the season and they had like hundreds of red mittens. So they put up a sign saying, "If you've lost a red mitten, come to our house. We have it." So that was the gist of the story. But very cute.
I think my favorite was the little
jam.
The little girl that ate it. Was it like jam on bread or something? And
Yeah, I think she didn't want to wash her face or something. And then she had jam on her face, and the bees came after her while she was sleeping, because I guess they could, and she ran around the house, and she learned a lesson that she needed to wash her face.
I think that's so funny. Like, here's a horror story for you to go to bed at night. The bees are going to attack you.
But we read them.
Oh, we love them. And you know what's funny is I think about how much we protect our kids nowadays, but you know what? The kids know that it's a story. Like, yeah, you got to be careful. There might be some kids that might take it literally and be frightened, but for the most part, kids know when you're joking. They know when it's a story.
So I think, I don't know.
Those two look good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we're going to add we can add our toggles, but we can do that at the end. So we need to add these little pieces of chain to each side of the bracelet. So let's think. I think we should go with the 5 mil, because the 18 gauge is a little thicker. But these are nice. These are gold plated too. So
Okay.
I'm going for the gold.
Going for the gold. I don't know if you remember this one. We used to have to go to bed really early when we were like 4 and 5. And our older siblings would be playing baseball outside, and it was still light out because it was summer, and we'd be crying saying we want to play baseball too.
Yep. I think it was even older, because I remember, getting ready for school to start in September, and
does it go through?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And so 5 and 6 even, and I think it was even later, because there was another time. I don't know if you remember this, Sylvia. I think the lady's name was Jane. She had 2 boys on our street.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know where our parents were going on some trip.
Yeah, we had to stay with them.
She remembers. So my mom told the lady that, oh, they go to bed at 7 o'clock. We were probably like 8 or 10 or
I would
something.
say
We were
8,
old
yeah.
enough, and it was summer. So normally, when my parents were home in the summer, we could stay up and outside playing till 11 at night. My dad used to sit on the front porch playing his banjo. So there was always an adult around, and it was our neighborhood. We, knew all the neighbors and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, they went on a trip for a week, and we stayed with that neighbor, and she had 2 sons around our age. She would send us to bed at like 8 o'clock, and we'd be like, the boys would be out in the back, and they had those patio lanterns, like the
Oh yeah,
tiki
yeah, yeah,
lanterns.
yeah.
So to me, I was like magical in the backyard. Oh, if we could just go outside and play on the grass and, whatever. And here they are having a great, great old time, and we're like stuck in bed. I was like, that was so mean, mommy. But I understand why she did it. She needed somebody to look after us, and she probably figured that was a cincher or a clincher on the
Oh yeah, they
deal.
go to bed early. So
They go
they're
to
no
bed.
trouble
They're
at
no
all.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I remember she gave me a little cat figurine. She had all these figurines on shelves and stuff.
Yeah, when we left, she kind of took us into her room and said, "Pick something that you like for yourself." That was really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, like they were really nice people, but I don't know, maybe she thought that was a real thing. That we went to bed at 8. It's like, check the rest of the summer. We're out gallivanting on the streets until 11 at night. It's like so funny.
And probably, raising boys, she wouldn't have known that, maybe she
Girls are different. They need more sleep.
I don't know, took mommy's
beauty sleep.
advice.
So funny.
Okay, now I don't know if I.
Yep. You're doing good, Sylvia.
Thank you.
So, it's funny too, and I don't know if you remember this. I used to get car sick all the time.
Oh, yes, I do. And anytime we talked about going to Niagara Falls, you would get sick.
I would get sick.
So you
even
never
before.
came to Niagara Falls. We'd talk about going, and you would be sick, and you wouldn't go. So I always felt so bad for you.
So
she used to spend all my money on little toys for you, souvenirs when we came back.
Our aunt that had Wayne and had 2 boys, and Wayne was developmentally challenged, and so they were older. I was probably, I don't know, between 6 and 8, something like that.
Oops.
But it was funny.
I think that's tight enough.
Okay, let me see.
I keep losing it, but is that there? See how it's not very clipped together? There's a big gap.
Let me see here. Oh yeah, so that's important because there is thread here.
Can I do this?
So yeah, that's kind of the cheating way, but I'll just show you. So you grab your 2 sides.
Yeah.
Okay, this one.
I'm not beyond cheating, Emma.
You watch my videos, right? You know I cheat at everything. I'm like, please don't do this. This is not the way to do it. And I crunch a bead or something like that. So you just grab them. And so as you're twisting them back and forth like this, you squeeze together and it closes the gap.
Okay.
So actually this one's a little tighter, and I think that's because they are 18 gauge. So let's see if we can get that a little better. The other option Tammy was telling me is to put 2 jump rings, and the risk of the thread going through both jump rings at the same time is so little that it takes care of that. So, and it kind of looks nice if you have 2 jump rings. It looks like some unique chain. So now we're just going to add our toggle clasp back on.
Okay, so the same pieces that we had
Yeah.
from before. Okay.
Yeah, so I remember going to our aunt's, and I'm trying to, it'll come to me, her name.
Was it Lee's or something like that? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
So because she had boys, I would come over and she would cradle me in her arms like I was a baby. I was like 6 or 7. She was so sweet. She just like would love on me all weekend, taking care of me and stuff.
You know, we couldn't have been left too often with other people, because I remember being about maybe 2.5, 3. To be able to have those kind of memories, I must have been 3 or a little older.
Yeah.
And they had like a little ride-on toy, and they were going, I think, for some funeral in New Brunswick or something. And they had dropped us off, and they convinced me to ride on that toy. I did not want to ride on it because I saw all the signs, right? All signs point to being
They're
left
ditching
behind.
us.
And sure enough, I get on that toy and they start the car. It's like, get in the car, hurry up, let's go. And I cried and cried. But thankfully, you were there with me.
Yeah, I actually think
because we were little.
I think
little.
I remember that, and I think that was our other aunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had 2 boys too, didn't she? Older boys.
I could not remember. Like I said, I was so little when we were there.
But I remember being in the backyard and seeing the car pull away, and the 2 of us screaming like, you know, they left us on the side of a cliff or something. There we go.
Sorry.
No, perfect.
Now keep twisting back and forth to try and get it closer together.
Yeah. So that one's not as important because it won't come off the chain. It's just when you have a thread. That looks really good. Those little ovals are amazing.
Okay.
So let's see if we can tell you more stories about the traumatic experience of being left behind.
Childhood.
I can remember like being in bed and watching the kids outside play and stuff.
That was the big one, them playing baseball, because and I remember thinking, you know, well, we can play baseball. We know how to play baseball, and that's probably why when we were in school, we did well at baseball.
Yeah. So we played baseball all summer long. We had our own gloves and our ball and stuff like that. And we played a game called 500. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So it was like a round robin. So there was no teams. You just played a different position. And then when it was your turn to come up at bat, it would rotate out. So you'd go from first base to second base to third base to home and, you know, pitch and whatnot, right? And you would get points for whatever you hit. So if you hit one that nobody caught, it would end up being like 100 points or something, and it was called 500. So the first person to 500 would win. So there is that.
There we go.
So there's that looks amazing. So there's a simple way to extend your beaded. Now, what you can do, and I've seen other people do this, is they don't extend the one side, they extend it on the toggle side. It doesn't really matter as far as I can tell. You might want this a little firmer on your wrist, but I think it would still be good. And I'm looking at it, and it actually might be a little bit big, but you know what? You can always take some off.
Now I know, and I have the tools at home.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know if I'm too close.
There.
I'm terrible at doing these myself. I usually get Peter to help. I'm like, okay, I need help with my bracelet.
So there's a tool that does this, like a little handle thing, and it hooks and you can pull it through. Yeah, it's a little big. So
yeah, very pretty.
Yeah.
I worked very hard on this.
You cheated.
Coming in at the 11th hour.
I know you.
So very pretty.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for
listening to our silly stories.
Yeah.
Our therapeutic childhood.
So that is so cool. So we're going to say goodbye, and I have a bunch of videos to do. I'm still kind of recovering and getting back to normal activity. So hopefully, I think by Saturday, I should do like a marathon of bracelets to show you, because I have a ton of project bins ready to go. So, and I have since got some orders come in and a few coming. So there's always that. But I know you guys have been waiting for the bracelet videos, so they're coming. So thank you so much. It's been wonderful. And
yes, nice meeting everyone.
yeah, now I go spend some time with my sister and do some little de-stash here. I was saying to her, because the shipping is so expensive, I'm like, you got to come and look at the stuff now and take what you want, because this way it'll save me on shipping. So anyway, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.